Alright guys, so this following lecture or this lecture is going to be quite a lot of fun, okay? And we're going to learn some pretty neat ways how to index, how to replace the index, and stuff like that. So right now, as you can see, I no longer have my data per se. So if you don't mind, you can just wait 1 or 2 minutes here. So import pandas as pd and then pd.read.csv. Give it a few seconds here. So pd.read.csv. So users is equal to pd.read.csv. I'm sorry about the delay, guys. I probably should have not restarted my ideally, but I did, and I'm sorry. So ml 100k slash u.user. Okay, and we did sep is equal to straight slash, and we had names is equal to. For now, I'm gonna just make them back to lowercase. Just save me a little bit of time here. Don't have to hit the tabs key or caps lock key or shift key. I'm sorry. User ID, age. One too many there. Age. We had gender, so gender. We had occupation. We had zip code. Okay, so when I type zip code or when I type user ID or age or gender or occupation, if you wrote yours in caps, then make sure you please write them in caps. Again, I'm restarting it and I didn't write it in caps, but if your column names are in caps, then please remember to use them in caps, otherwise you're going to get an error. Okay, so this is our users, and right now printing out users.head, it looks good. So we have everything back, it's all great. So before I talk about some indexing functions, I want to just quickly touch base on two other functions. The first function is going to be users.dtypes, and what dtypes is it returns the data type of your columns. So as you can see, our user ID and our age are both integers. Gender, occupation, zip code are all strings, so it's returned an object. User.dtypes is a very useful function when you're trying to figure out, hey, what's in each column, stuff like that. The next function I want to talk about is something called users.describe. And the users.describe function is very useful when you have integers in your column. So it only picks up the integers. It's picked up the user ID and it's picked up the age. Count basically returns what is the number of items in that column. So forget about user ID. That's not really useful, but the age is useful. So there's 943 items in our age column. The mean is 34. So this is huge. Instead of having to calculate the mean by using some random Excel function, just hit users.describe and you got the mean. So the mean here tells us it's 34. What does that say? That means that the most common person who is voting is a middle-aged man, okay? So that's definitely useful information. This is all data analysis right here. You have the min and you have the max. Min is 7. So the youngest person to vote was 7 and the oldest was 73. He's probably retired. But this is a describe function. So if you ever need to do some quick mathematical function like count, mean, min, max, those simple Excel functions, that's where you'd go. You'd use users.describe. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about in this lecture is going to be, again, indexation. So it is a bit complicated, but as soon as you understand what's happening, you'll get it. So right now we have, if I do users.head, excuse me, I should probably get myself some water. But we have users.head and we have these 5 columns. That's fantastic. Except we have this recurring the pandas index itself, the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we did talk about how to use the index call function to make user ID as the set index. But what if I don't want to reinitialize the file every single time? Shouldn't there be an easier way to set the index? Well, guess what? There is. The function I want you to use to set the index is going to be users.setIndex. Users.setIndex, and then just specify which column you're using. So let's use user ID dot head. Okay, and that returns us user ID as the index. Okay, so now things have changed. However, if I print out users.head, what do I get? See, now I get back to that normal index, and I don't like that index, okay? I want to permanently change my index, okay? So if you want to modify your existing data frame, we have to use the in place parameter. So go ahead and let's say users.head, users.setIndex, user ID, and then comma, you're going to specify in place equals true. So the first time when we were doing it, this part, users.setIndex, user ID.head, we're just saying to show us the results when user ID is the index. However, when we're saying this, the in place part, we're saying change it completely. Don't just show us, change it. So now, if we print out users, we no longer have that issue of that index coming now. Okay? So all that's good. Now, the next part is, let's try slicing this. So we got rid of that random, the index pandas was providing. We have the user ID now, and we want to slice this, okay? So I want to get from 10 to 14. Okay, so now I'm probably thinking, well, hey, it should be much easier now. So it's actually going to be 10 to 15. However, yeah, so we get 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That works. Another way you can do this, suppose I want to get like first, second, and third. What happens? It gives me an error saying that doesn't work. What you can do is selecting rows. What you have to do is you have to use the IX method. So you're going to say users.ix, and then in here you are going to specify the rows that you want to see. Suppose I want to see the first row, 12th row, and 32nd row. It returns us 1, 12, and 32. Note how I put two arrays, one inside of the other. If you try removing an array and just do 1, 2, 3 in that, it's going to give us other. So the IX function, again, it takes in the two arrays instead of one, so it's two square brackets. That's something key. Okay, so this is good stuff. In this lecture, we discussed quite a lot. We learned how to set the index permanently. We learned about the describe and the dtypes function, and then we learned about slicing and the IX, where using the IX function, users.ix, you can choose any row you want. So if I want the 112th row, 543, and 912. Close it. It returns me those three rows. So awesome job, guys. Hopefully now you're understanding Pandas. You're getting comfortable with it, because that was the whole goal of this section. That's it for this lecture. If you have any questions whatsoever on this lecture or any of the previous lectures, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm still learning Pandas, so I'm not completely experienced with it, but it's definitely been a learning experience with me creating these videos, understanding how Pandas works, stuff like that. So see you in the next lecture.